to the channel, and today a review of this book. This is The Last Man by Mary Shelley. This book was written in 1826 and it is a book of middling length. This particular volume is about 430 odd pages, but in paperback it often comes in at over 550,000 pages, over 550 pages or over 150,000 words. And it is a slower read because it does have quite a dense prose style. It was written in 1826, and similar to Shelley's more well-known work, Frankenstein, of 1818, this is again it's almost a science fiction book, though it doesn't contain those classic science fiction tropes. It is set 250-ish years in the future from when it was written. The events of this book actually take place between about 2070 and 2100, and Shelley does her best to kind of think of what that future might be. She does touch on kind of industrial changes, the steam engine especially. Many characters will fly around the globe in silk air balloons with wings. And also she has done an exceptional job of predicting changes in the British Parliament and kind of like the politics of the time, and that does come across quite strongly in this book as well. But she does struggle to grasp quite what that future will look like. And I actually have a quote which will go into, it's a brief couple of lines that she puts in there to kind of explain to the reader, look, I expect this to have happened, but I don't know quite how it will happen. And I'm just going to get the notes and read that to you now. So Shelley goes on to explain it like this in the book. The discoveries of science had augmented the ratio which left behind all calculation. Food sprung up, so to say, spontaneously. Machines existed to supply with the facility every want of the population. So you can see there that Shelley is really thinking about what the future would look like, how these engines were going to affect mankind, but it is very lightly touched upon in the book. It does feel very much like a kind of rudimentary Victorian steampunk. They still use sail ships, they still ride horses, and these machines kind of coexist alongside what Shelley would see in her own life. Other things in the book that are very, very interesting is the global pandemic backdrop that the book has, and coupled with this kind of far future, almost sci-fi feel, you'd think this would be an exceptionally interesting read, to read a book with these backdrops that was written in 1826. But unfortunately, the way that the book is packaged, the way that the book is written, it does take a little away from that. The first thing I need to talk about is the fact that this is almost written like a posthumous autobiography from the titular Last Man. He depicts the events of his life and the effect of this pandemic, but he does it in such a way that he will spend paragraphs or whole pages depicting, how beautiful a glade is or how beautiful a sunset is, but then we'll give you a very kind of Cliff Notes version of the exciting events that you would kind of expect, these kind of grand events that you were expecting to read about in the book. Those are often lightly touched upon, which can be quite frustrating at times, especially for a modern reader who really is looking for a lot of plot. And so I do want to touch on the fact that the prose is very, very beautiful. In fact, Shelley actually uses excerpts from some great writers of the time and slides them in throughout the chapters, even Shakespeare. And it's really a testament to the quality of her prose that they are almost seamless in their quality and their execution. But unfortunately, the book as a whole, it didn't really land as well as I'd hoped. It does lack momentum. It does stall on several occasions, and it is a book of very, very high quality. It was worth my time reading it, I think, because it really asks some important questions, some very human questions and some very important social questions throughout the book, that I feel like I really did get something to take away with me. But I can't say that the act of reading the book was wholly enjoyable. It is fits and spurts, really. And I think ultimately it may not be worth your time investing in this classic rather than another. I would actually give this book a 3 out of 5.